Beautiful bright souls, hello and welcome. It's such an honor to be here with you today. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel, Ascension to Love with Alice. A return to union, that unity consciousness, that delightful, wonderful, unconditionally loving, non-judgmental, beautiful, incredible, harmonious reality that we are creating. How exciting is that, hey? You know, we've had this polarity for such a long time, and now we're in the gateway of change. You know, it's just, I find it phenomenal, just kind of experiencing life as it is. So I'm hoping everyone is enjoying the waves of energy coming in and really allowing themselves to flow flexibly with them and taking rest when it's needed, right? I just want to say, before we get started, a huge thank you to everybody that contributed to the last video that went live. There is on my videos an option to offer a donation or offer a gift by way of a wish list. And, you know, I don't often really talk about that. People that are drawn to it will find it, and they, you know, they offer what they wish to, what they can. And the last video, I just got such a beautiful abundance of love from many people. So I just wanted to say a huge heartfelt thank you to those special souls. You know who you are. And if you are called to offer some type of energetical exchange, even if it's not by one of those methods, a comment, a share, a like always helps really get this video out there to people that would benefit from the message that's being transferred, transcribed, and you know, transmitted through. Right. So before we crack on, so this is going to be a full moon reading. So we've got that gorgeous Scorpio full moon. I know I'm using very positive words, and I know that is not usually the words that people would associate with a Scorpio full moon, especially with Pluto, the planet of Pluto, going into retrograde the day after. So Pluto goes into retrograde for 5 months, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a separate video for Pluto or not. We will find out if I get called to do that or not, but I will be including that in this reading, so do stay tuned because they are very similar. Okay, so a Scorpio full moon. So full moons are about completion. It's about harvesting the goals that were set, the manifestations that you set in the new moon. But also look at the full moon. Also look at what 6 months prior you set as goals and manifestations in the Scorpio new moon in November. And was it November? Sorry, October, November, whenever 6 months ago it was, whenever that Scorpio new moon was. Look at what you were setting in then, because you know it's going to come to accumulation now. And it was really fascinating because Scorpio is about that death and rebirth, so is Pluto. Right, so Scorpio is that massive death and rebirth. It's a water sign. It goes very deep into the depths of the real murky waters, the subconscious, that underworld. It really goes deep in there, and it accesses stuff that, you know, we don't always see, we don't recognize. You know, we can feel really out of sorts and kind of like the whole world is kind of crashing down upon us, and we're like, what's happening? And what Scorpio is doing is allowing that dirt to come up so that it can be transformed and illuminated. And it was so fascinating because the lesson that got released this week for Rebirthing the Goddess, which is a program that I run, was about that the virgin, or the maiden, the virgin's journey, Persephone, right? Persephone's story. And for anyone that is familiar with that, you know, she is the queen of the underworld. She's the guide there. She really helps us go from that victim mentality into the victor, into that shining beacon of light. And that's so prevalent right now. We're seeing it everywhere right now. You know, we are being shown where we have been victim to someone else, where we've given our authority away. For some people, and I've had so many messages, right? From some people, it's relationship dynamics, right? If your relationship isn't balanced, you know, mother-father dynamics, even government things, right? Even like kind of, you know, the legal system type of thing. You know, have we been victim to that? Have we given our energy away to a different governing body? And it's fascinating to see the mix of energy coming in and the mix of people asking for help with it. And this is the thing, it's going to be a massively powerful full moon. It's a super moon as well, which means that it's even more intensified. So ask for help if you need it. This is the whole point. We're not going to do this journey alone. We are here with other people on this planet for a reason, and we're here to support and hold space for one another, right? So I normally don't talk for this long at the start of the video. I normally go straight into it, but it was just very important that that was mentioned, especially with this full moon having Pluto go retrograde, because we're already feeling this full moon, right? We're already feeling the energy of it because of that Pluto. And once again, Pluto is that deep wanting to understand, wanting to know everything. Pluto retrograde is really going to tap into, once again, that underworld, that depth of the shadows, right? And it's a good thing, you guys. It's a really good thing, but it can make you feel really out of sorts. It can make you feel like, you know, like the world is ending, the world's falling apart. It's not. It's not. I want to just let everyone know it is not. So we're gonna read on the full moon first, and we'll pull a few cards on Pluto going retrograde as well. I may do a separate video for that, so do stay tuned. And once again, thank you everyone for being here, and let's get started. So, beautiful angels, guides, and ascended beings of love and light, thank you so much for honouring us with your presence. Thank you so much for bringing in clear messages through about this wonderful full moon in Scorpio. What do we need to know? And for anyone that that isn't sure when that date is, it's on Tuesday, right? It's 26th, 27th of April. Oops. Okay, that's a lot, you guys, but I think that card wants to stay out, and there you go. Look at that. Okay, so we've got 4 cards. I'm just going to move that up a little bit. So we've got adjustments are required, 3rd quarter moon. That's that's interesting. Okay, sorry, I was just receiving a message at the same time. So we've got adjustments are required. We've got full moon in Sagittarius coming in. Conclusions are within reach, which is that full moon eclipse. And we've got work through your first new moon in Scorpio. This is really interesting because this card is coming out quite a bit right now, because even though we're coming into this full moon in Scorpio, the Scorpio energy that's coming up right now, it really is actually asking us, you know, what are we actually afraid of, right? What are we actually afraid of? You know, and people that maybe aren't as actively working through the healing process, you know, they are still very subject to ego and to reacting and things like that. But this is no longer about being passive, you guys. This is very much about being active in facing your fears. So we do need to adjust, because what's happened is we've been fearful in the past of things, and it's just become the norm for us, right? That's been the norm for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. But we are getting asked to, you know, shift a little bit, right? And what's really nice is that actually, as I'm recording this today, the sun is beaming upon me through the window, and on the other side of the house, on the other side of the you know, wherever I'm filming from, on the other side, the moon is in the sky. You know, the moon is right there. So we've got a beautiful clear blue sky, along with the moon in the sky as well, so we can see them both, right? So that's just showing the polarity that is here right now. And you know, it's really interesting. So we've got, look at the bigger picture coming through as well, that full moon in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is that fire sign that's really quite, it's quite lucky, or it can be. But what this is asking us to do, how this is relating to this Scorpio moon, is that we do need to make shifts, right? Because the fears that are coming up, they're so embedded and ingrained that it's hard for us to see what the actual root is, right? So we have to go out of it and look at that bigger picture, because there are things that have been repeating for lifetime upon lifetime for throughout your whole life. There was a similar theme here, that we really actually have the honor and the privilege of, if we take a step back from the fear, from being within whatever is happening for you, whatever is coming up for you, if we take a step back and actually go, hold on, what really is happening here? What really am I afraid of? Am I afraid of, you know, of this and this? Or actually, is it a fear of perhaps not having a home, or not having money, or something like that? This is a common theme coming up. Root chakra is a common theme coming up. So don't be surprised if it's something relating to your root chakra, which is structure, stability, you know, having what you need, right? Yeah. We've got conclusions are within reach as well. So we really do have the option to close down timelines here. And then with this new moon energy coming in at the very, very end, this is not only encouraging us that there is a new start coming through with this full moon. And there is with every full moon, you guys. I just want to say that. But what the difference is that this is the full moon where really we're going to see such a profound effect, right? We really, really are. If we face these fears, we really have this chance to shift gears in such a phenomenal way. Look, and we've got a new waxing moon coming out here, and waning moon. Got all the moons coming out. I've got moonstone as well. I love these cards. They know me so well. And water. Yeah, it is a rite of passage. It is an initiation, you know. And I'm not even joking. Look at that rite of passage on the bottom of the deck. Look at that. I'm actually going to put that right here. So this is a rite of passage, right? This is a rite of this full moon is a rite of passage. We're feeling it already. And that is that beautiful planet of Scorpio, whether it's a planet or not, you know, of Pluto, sorry, influencing that also. But look at all this moon energy, right? Because Scorpio is arguably the most intuitive sign of all of them, right? So the veils are very, very thin. The ability to actually see through things and see clearly is there, but we have to be careful that we're actually seeing clearly the truth and not seeing the veil of fear. That's really important. You know, we've got this new waxing moon here. So these I pulled for clarity, just for an extra depth of message here. But we've got this new waxing moon. So this is this expansion. So you've got this energy of expansion wanting to come through, and it's like bursting at the seams. It's like you're bursting at the seams to really, you know, step onto this higher timeline. You've asked for it, you want it, you want more abundance, you want more love, you want more prosperity, you want it all, and it's rightfully yours. So you've got this expansion coming in here, and you know, then you're being shown the adjustments, right? You're being shown, well, hey, you want this, we have to change how you've done life, right? Before, we have to change how you do things. We have to change how you're attracting. We have to change your point of attraction. And what do we need to do that? Look at the bigger picture. And whilst we're doing that, you know, it's going to allow you to go within, right, deeper, which is really funny because it's like, it sounds like it would be an opposite message. Look at the bigger picture, but go within. It's actually not, because everything is within us anyway as it is. So when we say look at the bigger picture with this card here, it's zooming out to a point where we can actually see so clearly, and actually it's like zooming out but then looking within with a telescope, right? Looking within ourselves, because it really is that self-inventory. Like when we zoom all the way out, we're actually able to see the timeline of events, right? We're actually able to see the timeline. And the intuition here is going to play really, really helpful. You know, timing is going to play really helpful. We're still being called to pause and to wait, right? You know, and there is action to be taken on a day by day, but it's not as gung-ho as it has been, right? You know, we're in that steady Taurus sun. And, you know, and also depending as well on where your moon is and your natal chart is going to have a massive effect. If you are a Scorpio moon, especially depending on the degree that your moon is in, I think the degree that this Scorpio moon is 7 degrees. So depending on where your degree of Scorpio moon is, if you are a Scorpio moon in your natal chart, it's going to be a big one, my friend. It's going to be a big one. So give yourself the space to rest if you need it. But there is a lot of intuition, a lot of mystery. And when I say mystery, I'm touching upon the mystery schools as well. Those teachings are wanting to come through. You know, you've got goddesses, aspects of the divine goddess that wish to come through to help teach that. You know, Lady Isis being one. Like I said, Persephone came through this week for this week's lesson in Rebirthing the Goddess. But, you know, it is this rite of passage, and the emotions are the key here. They really are. It's this initiation that we are going through collectively and individually, because it's all to do with releasing victim mentality, right? And just to kind of give you an abbreviated version of what that kind of looks like is like the victim is passive. It's like you know, the victim is passive. Things just kind of happen to them. You know, it's not their fault, right? You know, it just happened to them. If you look at a marriage, it just kind of happened. You know, I just kind of ended up getting married to this person. How did that happen? It just happened, you know. You know, I just got this job. How did that happen? I don't know. It just happened. It's kind of passive, and that can be good and that can be not so good. And the victim archetype, the wounding of the victim, you know, often attracts the narcissism, often attracts the other things that go with that. I'm lost for words here. But this is about releasing all of that, right? The persecution is victim mindset, right? And this is about acknowledging what you create. This is about actually taking your sovereignty back to really stand within yourself, right? This is where the fears lie. It's in the emotions of it, because this is where manipulation and control come into it, which is so key for the victim, for healing the victim, is that it lies in the emotions. It doesn't lie in anything else. It's not a mental pattern that you're going to spend 10 years trying to heal and going into the psychology of it all. No, it actually lies in the emotion. When you can face the emotion that you're feeling and actually see it in a different way, see it from a step back, you know, and go within and actually call upon the wolf. I'm actually getting to call upon the wolf. You know, express, right? I'm getting drawn to the wolf is howling here. Actually express, use your voice, use your throat chakra, allow it to you know, sing, howl if you need to, you know, make noise, right? Make noise, allow it to express. If your emotions are peaked, allow them to run through, right? Allow them to come out. If you need to cry, for goodness sake, please cry. For your sake. Because that's what emotions are for. Emotions are that indicator, right? We talk about that a lot in other things, but you know, yeah. Call upon the unicorns, call upon the dragons, call upon whomever you need, right? You know, let's have a look. What do we... So this is a very, very powerful full moon. We've got that. We know it's a rite of passage. We know it's an initiation. We know it's very much to do with the sister moon and her... she's helping us so much with that. Yeah, and we know that we're really going to be able to shift some massive major things, especially around victim mentality, and especially around that wound in there. And moving, and this once again, this links to the virgin archetype, right? That purity, because the virgin isn't, like, we kind of distort the meaning of that word in today's society, and we have done for millennia now. But the word virgin didn't come from whether a piece of a female anatomy is intact or not intact, or whether they've had intimate relations physically with someone. That is not the definition, the true definition of virgin. The true definition is really actually knowing your intrinsic worth and your intrinsic value, and not being owned by anyone. So, you know, the virgin archetype, just as a little kind of insight here, you know, she doesn't belong to any man or woman, right? But she may choose to freely be with them, right? But she isn't owned by them. She doesn't owe them anything, right? She goes after whatever it is that she wants in a very graceful way, in a very joyous way. There's a lot of joy and hope and optimism here. And this spread right now, this moon is showing us where we have allowed something or someone else to take that joy from us. That's what's being highlighted for you. That's what's being highlighted. So for everyone, it is going to look different, but at the same token, it's going to be the same type of themes. Root chakra, sacral chakra, right? So home, finances, abusive relationships, that's coming up right now, right? Governments, big one, right? Governments or government bodies and authorities, you know, demanding something in relation to whatever, landlords, you know, all that type of stuff. So we're gonna pull some divine feminine cards. And once again, thank you so much for the sweet soul that chose to give these to me. I absolutely adore these cards. They're one of my favorite decks of cards as well. So I'm very, very grateful to it's that beautiful, beautiful soul. But let's see here. What angels and aspects of the goddess, what do we need to know? What will help us navigate this full moon so that we really can conclude whatever it is that we're ready to conclude here, and really anchor in our of course I've got Dakini coming in and really anchor in that you know, that highest timeline, that most sovereign timeline. So we have Dakini coming in. So Dakini is a tantric priestess, right? That is someone who is enlightened. She's the enlightened feminine, right? You know, her gut instinct is wise beyond reason, trusting the intuition to guide her, right? That's the Dakini. But also at the same time, she's a high priestess, right? She's a high priestess who knows how to work with sacred sexuality. She is a tantric priestess, right? And, you know, if you are new to that and you want to know more about that, just drop me a message. Drop me a message. And we go into it in Rebirthing the Goddess. But who else is here to support us through this really powerful full moon? Thank you. Okay. Lady of the Lotus Born. So embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. Absolutely. There's going to be body stuff coming up here as well, you guys, right? How we perceive ourselves. Some of these I cannot say. I'm not even going to try and pronounce them right now until I've like spent some time trying to learn how to say them. But we also have the essence of all the Buddhas here. This, she's also Dakini, right? So she's also, I think all of these are actually masters in the alchemical process and the sacred arts of the mystery schools, right, of the divine feminine. But this says, you know, I have the power to make each moment sacred. Everything is material for my liberation. And this is really important, this card here. I have the power to make each moment sacred. Each moment is sacred. And when we live in the now present moment time and enjoying and being really happy and blissful for whatever is occurring, we then start to realize that it is only occurring for us. And then similarly, which is really fascinating, because we're talking about how everything's to do with the root chakra coming up right now, and or it's everything's, well, Scorpio takes it deeper than that. It goes deeper than the root chakra, right? But it's kind of showing itself through the root chakra, which is the material side. And you know, this card is talking about everything material is for my liberation, and that's exactly it, right? It's like, you know, whatever is around you is there for you. Everything that is around you is literally created for you, right? If it's contrasting, it is contrasting so you can expand, right? Which we had right here. You know, an embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment, right? Once again, how can you connect with your body? How can you connect with your body, right? You know, we've got a lot of goddess energy coming through that's really emphasizing this point, because your body is a sacred temple, right? Your body is a sacred temple. How you treat it, how you talk to it, how you touch it, how you fine tune it. You know, it's an instrument. It's an instrument of love. It's an instrument of being, right? And how you work with that instrument is going to really going to determine how much of a beautiful symphony is playing, or whether it sounds like there is something just strongly out of tune. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, recognize the beauty. Archangel Michael just wanting to come in here. Look at that, just to hold space for everyone. I love that. I love that. So there's a lot of very powerful energy coming in. Let's just ask, actually, for the Pluto, I'll have to do a separate video, you guys, on Pluto retrograde. Mother Mary coming in with love and peace, just reminding us that that is all there is. That is all there is, love and peace. Okay, so I'm going to pop you there, Mother Mary. And Lady Nada. I don't think there could be a better two to go next to each other here, really. Wow. So Mother Mary in a different timeline was Isis, right? You know, Mara in Lemuria. And Lady Nada was an Atlantean priestess, also Mary Magdalene, right? So they're coming in different versions of themselves. But this is about, you know, love, peace, and your heart opening right now. And I'm actually going to pull just a couple of cards. Once again, another beautiful gift from a beautiful soul. So thank you so much for these cards. I love them so much. But if we could pull let's pull maybe 2 or 3, just little things to end this with. How to, just like little words of comfort to really help us through this emotional time. And this is the thing as well. This is a water moon, right, with an earth sun. Right? Be sure to ground. There is that connection between the two feminine aspects, Sister Moon, Mother Earth. Don't discount that, okay? That's very important. And that's why there's a lot of feminine energy coming in here. But make sure you're grounding. You are acting as a bridge, right? You are acting as a bridge for that light to come from the skies downwards. So when we remember that, you know, things really start to shift. So we've got to feel your innate sense of truth, develop open-mindedness coming in. So this is just relating to what have you been told your whole life? What have you been telling yourself your whole life? Question everything. Seriously question everything, right? And then you'll start to discover your own truth, right? In a way that you never really thought to, or in a way that you never believed you could. You are an I. I love this. Use this higher aspect of yourself to redeem your shadow aspects. What are you affirming to yourself? The words I am and whatever follows it instantly attunes you to the divine aspect of God, of whatever it is that you're saying. So if you say I am love, that literally attunes you to love. Like literally it goes straight up your column of light, straight up all your chakras, goes straight to God, whatever you call God. It goes straight to that light, taps into love, and then draws it back down. So when you say I am, and really stand anchored in your feet, in your pose, as you say it, you know, it really shifts so many things, right? And it's going to help really release the shadow aspect. So when you start to notice, when you follow the guidance of this reading, and you know, you zoom out and you go within, and you know, you see what it is that actually is underlying the fears and the emotions that you're feeling, you're going to notice those shadows, right? You're going to notice those shadows. And then when you notice them, you know, that's when you start to create different affirmations that are going to help you move through them and pass them. And you know, it's just no fear. There's just no such thing as fear. And express your love through deeds. Okay, so how are you showing up as love? How are you enacting that? How are you portraying that in every thought, word, and deed? Right? It's not just words and thoughts. Look at this: thought, word, and deed. But it's also in the physicality of it all as well. How are you showing love to yourself and to those around you? We've got to have compassion, you know? Look at that on the bottom of the deck. Practice speaking positively about other people and events, especially in the future, right? Super, super important. So I'm going to wrap this up, you guys. I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for watching. If this has helped, please do share, do like, and pop a couple of emojis or comments in. I love reading your comments. It's always such an honor to be here with you. Look out for the weekly angelic insight for next week, because that will help navigate the first week of Pluto retrograde. I will likely do a video on Pluto retrograde as well, just because it's going to be so profound for what's happening in the world right now and for what we're all going through. So look out for that also. And I will see you all next time. If you're not yet on my Facebook page or Instagram, Ascension to Love with Alice, do find me on there. I love connecting with you guys. And if you would love to be part of the Isis Dream Temple where magic meets mystery, do feel very welcome as well. We have a full moon ceremony happening, I think, on Sunday. So if you'd like to be a part of that, it's free of charge, so feel very welcome. You do need to be a part of the group though to gain access to that. So sending you so much love, so many blessings. Bye for now.